Hello, welcome to the McGuffey's Online Tutor. Today's lesson is from the third Eclectic Reader, Lesson 5, Castle Building, Part 2. Today's guest is Mr. Jefferson, and he will play a part in this story as the older brother. You are welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Remember, in Part 1, Herbert was building a castle with his blocks, when Pussy rubbed against it and knocked it down. Herbert was angry and started to cry. All he had to do was rebuild his castle. He responded badly to the situation. He cried over spilt milk. His father showed him a better way. Now let us continue the lesson and see how we should respond when something bad happens.
If you have a pen and paper, please write down today's new words, which are string, a cord usually made of fiber, used for fastening, tying, or lacing. Paper, a material made of cellulose pulp, derived mainly from wood. Eagerly, having or showing keen interest, intense desire, or impatient expectancy. Dashed, to break or smash by striking violently. Case, regardless of what has occurred or will occur. Crash, to undergo sudden damage or destruction on impact. Dishes, an open, generally shallow concave, container for holding, cooking, or serving food. Retorted, to reply, especially to answer in a quick, caustic, or a witty manner. Sentence, a string of words satisfying the grammatical rules of a language. Tray, a shallow flat receptacle with a raised edge or rim, used for carrying, holding, or displaying articles. When listening to this story, please look for the words and listen carefully to the context clues. This will help you remember the meaning of the words. Let's begin.
Soon, Herbert was as much interested in castle building as he had been a little while before. He began to sing over his work. All his trouble was gone.
"That is a great deal better than crying, isn't it?"
said Papa.
Crying for what?
Asked Herbert, forgetting his grief of a few minutes before.
"Because Pussy knocked your castle over."
Oh!
A shadow flitted across his face, but was gone in a moment, and he went on building as eagerly as ever.
I told him not to cry over spilt milk, said Joe, looking down from his place on the sofa.
I wonder if you didn't cry when your kite string broke,
retorted Herbert.
Losing a kite is quite another thing, answered Joe, a little dashed. The kite was gone forever. But your blocks were as good as before, and you had only to build again.
"I don't see,"
said Papa,
"that crying was of any more use in your case than in Herbert's. Sticks and paper are easily found, and you had only to go to work and make another kite."
Joe looked down at his book and went on reading. By this time the castle was finished.
It is ever so much nicer than the one Pussy knocked down,
said Hetty. And so thought Herbert, as he looked at it proudly from all sides.
If Pussy knocks that down, I'll
"Build it up again,"
said Papa, finishing the sentence for his little boy.
But, Papa, Pussy must not knock my castles down. I can't have it,
spoke out Herbert, knitting his forehead.
"You must watch her, then. Little boys, as well as grown-up people, have to be often on their guard. If you go into the street, you have to look out for the carriages, so as not to be run over. And you have to keep out of people's way. In the house, if you go by heedlessly, you will be very apt to run against someone. I have seen a careless child dash suddenly into a room, just as a servant was leaving it, with a tray of dishes in her hands. A crash followed.
It was I, wasn't it?
said Hetty.
Yes, I believe it was, and I hope it will never happen again.
Papa now left the room, saying,
I don't want any more of this crying over spilt milk. As Joe says, if your castles get knocked down, build them up again.
The end.
Part 2 of this story teaches that our actions cause consequences. We should be careful and think before we take action. It sends the same message as Part 1, which teaches you to discern the situation you may find yourself in and respond in a moral and mature fashion. Well, this is the end of today's lesson, and I hope you visit us again at mcguffysonlinetutor.com for more lessons and worksheets. Thank you, Mr. Jefferson, for joining me in this lesson.
No problem.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.